where I help naturally quiet people overcome social anxiety, play to their strengths, and thrive in life. Today I've got my 34th live event. I'm excited about it, and I thought I'd do a quick live stream to explain how it works. I have around 60 people who have said they're going to come to the event, which means I'm expecting to get somewhere between 30 and 40 people who actually turn up. So I've booked 2 different booths in a coffee shop in Birmingham. Really, really nice place called the Medicine Bakery. And I'm going to give everybody that arrives a number, either 1 or 2. And this determines which booth they're going to go to. So it's 2 different groups of people. And what we're going to do when we've sat down and ordered a coffee, tea, fruit juice, and basically a non-alcoholic drink, I'm going to explain the exercise that we're all going to do. No one's ever pressured to do an exercise, but I do encourage people to join in because I know that is going to help. So firstly, we're going to take turns vocalizing what's holding us back right now and stopping us feeling more connected, stopping us from feeling more connected to the group. So, for example, in my case, I can call out the fact that I've been through some financial challenges recently. I'm at the stage where my coaching business is full-time, which I'm really happy about. But it's possible for there to be cash flow problems where you might get a lot of your payments early on in one month and then late on in another month. So this month I've secured plenty of payments, but they're coming towards the end of this month and early next month. So I did hit a point where my bank balance went 0 and a bit below 0 before picking back up. And this triggered my fear and my anxiety. And at that point in time, I did feel defeated. I felt those emotions of being disheartened and defeated. But I knew that it was just emotions. Feelings can lie. And really, it's great because I knew that I was getting proof that nothing bad happens when you go broke. And I also knew that payments were coming down the line. So I knew that I would handle the challenge and move forwards. But the worst case scenario would be that I would carry those uncomfortable emotions with me to the event. That would stop me from fully committing, delivering value. People would think, man, this guy doing the event, he's rubbish. He's not a good coach. They wouldn't listen to me. I would not give a strong attempt. I would give this weak and feeble attempt at an event. That's the worst case scenario voice. And then no one would want to do private coaching with me. So we're all going to take turns first calling out the worst case scenario that our voice of fear has created. And then we flip it around and talk about the best case scenario. So the best case scenario is that I turn up to the event and do an amazing job. Everybody loves the event, huge amounts of value, massive impact, and a good 10 people want to do my coaching. I'm feeling on cloud 9 the whole time. I'm speaking like Shakespeare on stage. Everything's just coming out really, really naturally. It's powerful. The energy is 10 out of 10. And loads of people have clearly opened up and got a lot more confident, and I can see that there's been a big impact. That's the extreme best case scenario. So the voice of fear is biased, very, very, very negative, a horror story. The worst case scenario, we don't have an equally biased positive voice. So the idea of calling out the extreme opposite is to counterbalance the negativity that comes from this voice of fear. And then after each person, and one by one, has called out the worst case scenario and then the best case scenario, then the realistic middle ground is called out, is vocalized. So basically, each person is going to take turns calling out their fears that are stopping them from feeling more connected to other people in the group. What's the worst case scenario for them at this event? What fears are holding them back right now? Then they call out the opposite. And everybody does this. So it's the worst case scenario and the best case scenario. Next person, their worst case scenario, their best case scenario, next person, and so on. Then we do another round table where we call out the realistic scenario. I like to be optimistic and realistic at the same time. So I will probably call out something like, most likely it's going to be a good, solid event. Regardless of how I feel on the day, regardless of challenges, I'm going to step beyond it, commit. It's going to be a good event. It's going to help people and have a tangible impact. And probably I'll find 2 or 3 people that are interested in doing private coaching so I can help them out to a greater degree. So that is what I realistically envisage for the event. And what I've learned over these past several years is that sometimes you can do an event, you can go to a social when you're not in the best place, you're not in the best mood, but actually you can have a great impact even when you're in that place. So looking back, this is my 34th event, and I've had several events where I felt at my worst in the past. Probably about 2 or 3 come to mind, where at that point in time, I'd just been for a challenge, wasn't feeling great. But actually, some of those events where I was far from my best, they still worked, and they were events that actually led to great outcomes. I remember one event when it was a couple of people that turned up going back about 1.5 years ago. And I was not feeling it at all. I think I'd just been through a breakup at the time, about a week before, was not in the best mood. But I turned up, did the event, wasn't feeling great. But actually the event was impactful, and the people that turned up really appreciated it. And one of the guys said, I really think that you could help out my sister who has some social anxiety and is interested in this kind of stuff. And that led to a client indirectly. And there's a few other times I can recall where, let's say my average mood is like this. And of course, we all naturally go through these peaks and troughs. And I was just not in my best place. And it actually really helped people out. Even, one of my current clients, Liam, and you can see one of his testimonials on my YouTube channel. So Liam's now doing his 3rd block of sessions with me, his 3rd block of sessions, and the testimonials from his 1st block. And I'm going to ask him to give a testimonial for his 2nd block, because you'll be able to see a shift in his confidence, a shift in his physical appearance as well. He has a more defined jawline, looking a lot healthier, speaks more confidently. He's feeling better in general. But on the first time when I coached Liam with the free first session, so I always do the first coaching session with a new person free of charge, so that I can see if they're the right person that I want to work with, and they can experience my coaching before parting with their hard-earned cash. So this was the free first session that I did with this guy Liam, and I remember that on the day I was scared at that point. I basically finished with one batch of clients, and I was taking on new clients, and I was at this stage where I knew at that time that I basically had the next month's rent due, and I was at a stage where I basically had to make a sale, and this was my one taster left of the month, because another one had been rescheduled, and it was getting towards the end of the year before the Christmas period, and I went through this phase of anxiety for about 2 or 3 weeks. I was facing different triggers and fears, and some past trauma resurfacing, various little challenges. So I was really not in my best state at all before that particular coaching session with Liam. You know, if that's a graph of my general mood, it was at the worst that it could be at for me. But actually, the session itself was really, really impactful. I called out my fears and my insecurities so that didn't detract from the session itself. And I was like, okay, let's remove my ego, my fears, and my challenges. Today's about helping out Liam. Liam's the center of my focus. Let's help this guy out. The session went really, really well. Helped him out massively, and he's been a client since that was about last October/November, and he's doing his third block of sessions with me now. Made massive progress, and I've inspired him to change his career, and he's currently going through this career transition. We've been doing around 1 session a month as well. So what I've learned is that regardless of your state, maybe you want to come to one of my future events, but you might be going through a current challenge. You might not be in your best place. And you might think, I'll put it off and procrastinate until I'm at a peak in my mood. I'll only go to socials when I'm at my high points, but not my low points. I understand this pattern because I used to do this to some extent when I was younger. And I know people who live like this. They only go out and socialize when they're at their best, and they avoid other people like the plague when they're at their worst. But what I'm here to tell people is that it's so beneficial to go out and socialize and not make it depend on your feelings or mood. We're all humans. There's periods of time where if you've put a lot of work in, you can go for a long stretch of time without any challenges, and you're literally thriving, feeling great every single day, and things are amazing. And you go through challenges and you bounce back. But every human has this pattern where sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down. But what matters is that you're moving forwards overall, and you're enjoying the process as well. So even though you're sometimes up and sometimes down, you can see that you're climbing whatever mountain you're currently on, whatever challenge you're currently overcoming. So everybody goes through ups and downs. Doesn't matter if it's a Buddhist monk, a supposed spiritual guru. Everybody goes through ups and downs. Of course, you can be more level and more stable, but everybody goes through ups and downs. And my encouragement is, don't let your mood stop you from socializing. Something that you'll learn if you come to my events is how to manage your emotions and socialize regardless of how you feel. If anything, it's actually better to socialize when you're not in the most amazing place, because you get a chance to, as my mentor likes to say, talk with emotions. You get a chance to get your emotions out there, be a human, not a robot, and actually you can form stronger connections with people. And it's surprising that the best things can often happen when you turn up when you're not in the best place. And of course, because it's this up and down cycle, just because you might feel down right now doesn't mean you're not going to feel up a week from now. We all know this. And as it happens, because I've got experience and I practice what I preach, I'm not feeling that bad right now. I'm feeling fine overall. The past me would have been much more affected by current challenges than the present me. I'm a lot stronger now, handle my own fears, my own challenges much better. I bounce back much faster, but it doesn't mean that there's no ups and downs in life. Doesn't mean that there's never challenges. It's about learning how to thrive regardless of challenges and being grateful in times when there isn't a challenge. So I hope that I can inspire you watching this video to come down to a future event, meet other people that are there. Great bunch of people in general, a mixture of new people and familiar regulars. Quite a lot of my clients come to the events as well, so it's a great experience, great way to build confidence, to get the anxiety out of the way, connect with people. So yeah, if you want to come to one of my events or you want to try your free first coaching session, drop me an email and I'll be in touch. Cheers, Phil.